What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am reacting to why is Titanus and Amhuluk. Hopefully I said that name right. Hang on. There we go. I had to pull it back up. It kind of got closed out. But yes, this video comes to us from Goji Center. But I'm going to leave this kind of short today, so let's go on and get into the video.
Welcome back to the Titan Observatory.
I kind of like
we'll be looking at one
like
of
how
the
they got that right
Titans
there,
that you
where it's
have
like
ever
an
seen.
aquarium. Whoa.
Okay, let's just go somewhere else that's safe. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Before we get into some disturbing facts about Amhuluk, this video is divided into 3 parts: Amhuluk's origins, its story in the Monsterverse, and its special powers and anatomy. Let's begin with the origins and history of this creature.
I'm curious about his
by the way,
origins.
this section will get pretty disturbing, so skip ahead if you can't handle this. The legend of Amhuluk originates from Calipuya folklore. These were an indigenous tribe in what is now the state of Oregon. The myth states that Amhuluk was located near a lake near the Forked Mountain, about 15 miles west of Forest Grove. Here is where the horrendous dragon-like creature was spotted. This monster was described as a quadruped creature with long, upward-facing horns on its skull. Its body was covered in fur except its legs, so this thing looked pretty horrifying. What's even more scary was what this creature enjoyed doing: drowning others. Here's the messed up part of this monster. An old Calipuya tale states that 3 kids were wandering near the lake where this furry dragon lived. Once spotting its beautiful horns, these kids decided to jump on this dragon, take its horns away, and use it for tools. Obviously, this turned out to be a very bad idea, resulting in 2 of these kids getting impaled by the horns and staying there. The oldest surviving child later went to tell his dad, who later came over, only to witness the impaled children say, "We have changed bodies," before finally being drowned by Amhuluk. Yeah, see, I told you that you should have skipped ahead. So, now that we know the disturbing origins of this mythological creature, let's now talk about the Monsterverse Amhuluk.
I do like
this Titan was first introduced in the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters, when it was awakened by Ghidorah with orders to wreak havoc in populated areas. But where? We just discussed that this cryptid Amhuluk lived in a random lake in Oregon. But not this Amhuluk. This Titan lived in Russia. More specifically near the Manpupunner rock formations, which so happens to be surrounded by dense forests. This is also important. Stay tuned to see why later. Before Ghidorah's call to arms, Monarch had already set up camp in this area, building a research and containment facility for Titanus Amhuluk. But as most of us already know, this guy broke free from the enclosure and most likely headed towards the tourist center nearby, destroying buildings, roads, and ultimately killing off anyone who got in the way. This area of the map is sparsely populated. The next most inhabited city is 100 miles away, so we can guess that Amhuluk could have headed west to extend its path of destruction. The idea was for all the Titans to converge in Boston and finish off Godzilla. But only 5 Titans decided to show up. Fast forward a few months and the Titans begin stirring up trouble again, including Amhuluk. This time he's attacking one of the more benevolent Titans, Titanus Behemoth, a more or less peaceful but powerful Titan, known for its massive tusks attached to its skull. But not even these could protect it from this freak of nature. In the graphic novel Godzilla Dominion, Amhuluk travels down all the way to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, another densely wooded area and more populated. Here, Amhuluk decides to pick a fight with Titanus Behemoth and proceeds to land the first blow by knocking off one of Behemoth's tusks. This Titan apparently has some sort of elasticity property in its limbs, allowing it to reach far and deal tremendous damage. This is looking good for Amhuluk, but then they got company. Important thing to note here, the graphic novel proceeds to mention that both of these Titans are fighting for one thing: resources. So this is about to get ugly. Behemoth spits back with a hard blow with its remaining tusk, an impact that manages to knock the teeth out of Amhuluk. But remember, Titanus Amhuluk has better range and throws a punch so powerful that it knocks Behemoth flat on his ass. Godzilla arrived just on time to witness this. It was his prerogative as the Alpha to decide who keeps this particular territory. Godzilla's role in this planet is to establish order and supervise the restoration of nature. So that said, the better candidate to keep this jungle was Behemoth. If you didn't know, this guy's colossal feces act as a hyper-fertilizer, allowing plants to grow back at alarming rates, thus helping restore fair oxygen levels for the whole planet. Amhuluk's win in this battle would undo all of that. As Amhuluk drags Behemoth to drown him in deeper water, Godzilla intervenes by tossing him to the nearby rocky formation. This angers Amhuluk, but he's now facing a much more powerful Titan, so he proceeds to bow in front of Godzilla as an act of submission. Being saved by Godzilla, Behemoth re-enters his now abandoned Monarch enclosure that was built on top of him a few years back. Amhuluk, on the other hand, now has to find another place to call home. So why didn't Amhuluk put up a fight against Godzilla? What about him prevented him from taking this enormous risk? To find out, let's enter the Titan analysis platform. Titanus Amhuluk is one of those Titans that you look at and have no idea how to classify it. That's because there is no other creature in the natural world that is composed in the same way. By closely observing the textures and corporal composition of this monster, we see that it resembles rooty or wooden textures sourced from aberrated vegetation, meaning that this animal is most likely about 90% made of, you guessed it, trees, roots, moss, vines, and anything that could be sourced from the surrounding flora. In this section, we will be quoting a few comments from artist Drew Edward Johnson, the illustrator of this kaiju. Perhaps the most important takeaway from this Titan is the fact that this monster, believe it or not, is actually composed of a head, spinal cord, and extended nerve connections. But what's even more interesting is how this Titan functions. Its head houses an extremely powerful brain with a capability known as telekinesis. This is a currently fictional ability to manipulate a physical space using non-physical contact, similar to what you see in Star Wars or other crazy movies. Admittedly, this ability is a little too ungrounded on the Monsterverse's more realistic take on this universe, but the concept is simple. Using this extremely powerful brain, Amhuluk would be able to control the surrounding vegetation, lifting it up and literally sculpting its own body to this shape. 2 forelimbs and 4 legs, resulting in a highly maneuverable, flexible, and seemingly elastic kaiju. This image gives the illusion that Amhuluk's arms were elastic, but it was mentioned that this was in fact Amhuluk's ability to telepathically move the elements, creating his arm via telekinesis, meaning that the movement and speed of its arms weren't powered by muscles, but with its mind. How does this work? This is about to get really technical, but bear with us. This quote-unquote force that allows Amhuluk to move things telepathically can be explained by understanding particles known as gravitons. These haven't been proven to exist yet, but in essence, these are the literal components that make up a gravitational force. Let us explain. Visible light, radio waves, and other forms of radiation are made up of subatomic particles known as photons. Similarly, in this theory, gravity is composed of gravitons. In this case, Amhuluk's brain has the capability to manipulate these subatomic particles, allowing it to move objects. This, however, does have limitations, since it's mentioned that Amhuluk can move only plant matter, not non-organic objects such as metal or concrete. Now that we understand Amhuluk's body can only be made of densely packed vegetation, we now have the answer to 2 things. Number 1, as mentioned in the book, the reason Amhuluk and Behemoth fought over this territory was because of resources. Behemoth, being an animal that resembled a vegetarian creature, most likely fed on, you guessed it, vegetation. Amhuluk, on the other hand, needed this same vegetation to source its body's composition. If you didn't know, the Amazon rainforest is the largest rainforest in the world, containing millions of life forms including lush vegetation, trees, vines, and precisely the type of stuff that Amhuluk would use to assemble its body together. Remember, this guy originally came from a place already surrounded by trees, but this place was even better, providing a huge variety of flora to further strengthen its corporal build. But being made out of vegetation can have its weaknesses. Number 2. Earlier in this video, we mentioned that Amhuluk did not even bother to put up a fight against Godzilla. This guy wasn't stupid either. Picking a fight with another Titan with incendiary capabilities would easily send a walking plant to the end credits. Not to mention that a bunch of vines and trunks jumbled up together would be relatively simple to blast through, meaning that Amhuluk wouldn't really ever pick fights with the likes of Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and obviously the G-Man himself. Back to this creature's head. Since this is the only true part of its real body, this would technically mean that the only way to really kill off this creature is to destroy its head. Any injuries to its artificial body wouldn't really be detrimental to this Titan's well-being, as it would easily just replace the lost body parts with more surrounding vegetation. That said, it has been theorized by creators of this Titan that this process of regenerating or recuperating body parts can be a lengthy process. This includes locating suitable material to create the new limbs and intertwining its nerve endings to the vegetation itself. It is also theorized that this animal leaves behind a trail of toxic discharge to the surrounding areas. If true, this would be yet another reason why Godzilla decided to have Behemoth live here, instead of having this toxic fella jeopardize the world's oxygen supply. Today we learned that this animal is the strangest the Monsterverse has in its array of Titans. But are there weirder things out there? Check out these videos and see if you can find a stranger kaiju and let us know which one is your favorite. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And, dude, don't forget to subscribe.
Alright. Go on, take this out. I actually enjoyed that. I did not know all that facts about Amhuluk. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. Because I'm kind of bad with some names. So if I'm saying it right, let me know in the comments if you don't mind. But yeah, I've been actually wanting to do an Amhuluk custom for a while now since I saw the character in the comic. But because the comic book, I couldn't tell too much with it. But thanks to their video with the 3D model set that they had right there, it would help. It helps actually a lot. So thank you, Goji Center. If you are watching, thank you and everything. Hopefully I will be able to make an Amhuluk custom. One day I have some other ones listed. I went out and bought some supplies, but I'll worry about that. That is not relevant important to this video, so we're not going to cover that right now. But yeah, I did enjoy that a lot. And I did not know the origins of Amhuluk until just now, so that was very helpful. But it was actually awesome to seeing this stuff. But that is actually true though. I never thought about that. Why did he just bow to Godzilla in the comic book? I did not think about that until just now. Like he just said, he's made out of trees or limbs and bark. I mean, not well, bark exactly from wood, so from the trees and stuff. He would light up like nothing really when that atomic blast hits him. It would just probably disintegrate the entire body and probably the head because the heat. I don't know if the head would be lit up, but either way, that would have been awesome fight if it would have happened because of the long extensions that he could do against Godzilla, but also he would have lost really fast probably. I don't know, Godzilla probably wouldn't have used his atomic breath. He would have just tried to, what's the word, seduce him, I think, is that the word? Like, probably just get him to surrender. As what I would think Godzilla would do instead, but I don't know. Godzilla will attack by being devout. I can't get the word right. Being something attacking him because you see him free the Kraken. You see him fight off Scylla when she was trying to eat that submarine or the radiation. He didn't really kill her off. He had chances, he could have, but he couldn't keep up with her because she was running way too fast. So I don't know if he would have finished Amhuluk off, or would he just fight him enough to make him surrender like he did to what was the other monster? Tiamat. That's it, Tiamat. He fought Tiamat and he had a chance to finish her off and she surrendered. So it ain't like he's going out just killing the Titans just to get rid of them. He wanted them to follow his orders and keep the planet going. So I don't know if he would have killed him or he might have. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to cover that because I don't know a whole lot with that monster. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I will catch y'all in the next video.